Hey everyone, today I want to talk about this painting by Mead Schaeffer, The Count of Monte Cristo, done in oils in 1928. And there are five things I want to really discuss about this painting. The first them is painting faces and the use of colors that is really informative in this one. The simple composition, just a figure over a simple background. We're going to talk about that. Value grouping, I think one of the most important learnings in this one. Lost edge, I think, is the second most important. And finally, some info on the location of this painting as well as the collection that it is part of. Some books that I don't have and would love to have, and would love to hear if some of you do have them. What do you think of them? And what have you learned about this artist and other paintings you would love to see here on the channel as well? So jumping right in and zooming in a bit, we can already see a lot of bold moves done by the artist. Some of the brush strokes, we're going to discuss that more on the composition later on, but we can already see that they are very bold. Once again, he's using one stroke to define a lot of stuff. And we can go in and look at some of the colors used here. A lot of them even look really green. And it has a lot to do with the background being so blue. So if we bring them here, some of the colors used on the faces, you see that a lot of them can look a little greenish. But if we put them over a black background, you see that is desaturated yellow mostly. Even when we get to some of the more greenish colors from the color here, you will also see very greenish pigments that over a black background will turn into desaturated yellows. So it's really interesting to see that something, the color relativity that I've discussed on a lot of other videos, especially using color and light from James Gurney as a basis, is really used here. And once you put in the really strong red background, you can paint the face with colors that can resemble green. Is that the effect that you want or not? Then it's a choice by the artist. And in this specific case, a masterful control of saturation. So it's something that I really encourage you all to study from this painting and from other paintings where you're using bright, really saturated colors versus desaturated colors in the effect that they are conveying together. I'll add a link in the description to a video I did with a lot of tutorials on light and color, as well as saturation and so on. So jumping into composition, we're going to look at the image zoomed out so that we can see everything, every detail. You can already see that is a very triangular composition and very simple. It's just a figure in front of a simple background, almost like a cloth from a theater or something like that. It has a little bit of this theatrical look to it. Not a lot of details. Even the hands are half in shadow, so you don't see a lot of that. But really the contrast that you see in here with very bright values next to very dark ones from the shadows and the hair is really bringing the eye up here. This detail is very useful as well to bring the eye up here, as well as the lost edge that we're going to see later on. If we blur our eyes a little bit, we can see also the value grouping that I was discussing and that I mentioned before. All these values, and you can do that squinting your eyes, all these values, this big mass connects together. If you squint even more, you see that some of those details get lost in there as well. And even this start connecting a bit. If we zoom in, blurred out once again, we can see that all the facial features that were really visible before they really connect in this very distinct shape. As well as the rest, you can definitely see a lot of interesting shapes. This is by design as well, all the shapes that you're seeing here. So this is really important and interesting to study as well. The value contrast of this necklace really holds everything together and helps you go back and look at the rest of the image once again. So if we look at some of the contrast and the lost edges that I was mentioning, here you have very hard edges, brush strokes that are one color, possibly direct from the tube of this very strong, very bright white, very bright reds as well, versus and on top of very dark hair and connecting shadows over here. Now you can see a little more of the facial features. Try squinting your eyes once again so that you can see with your own eyes without the blur effect that all these shadow areas connect and the light areas become one thing as well. So you don't see a lot of the details. This is really important to painting overall and to getting a better overall picture. If you see a lot of the brush strokes in here, they are really visible. And you can see a lot of details. So a lot of details come from your mind. You complete a lot of the image. If we go to the bottom part of the image, now it becomes really visible that you don't have a lot of detail in this image. It's almost black. It kind of gets close to reminding us of Rothko painting, like black and red to some extent. So it's also a call out to looking at those images with different eyes. So it's mostly like a black over red. You have the details here, but without the rest of the context, you can almost not identify this as a hat and a hand. The rest of the hand here is also really hard to see. And the lost edge here is super important, relief from the rest of the very hard edges. You have some paint strokes here, but their value is really close to the background, so they don't call a lot of attention. But here you connect with the rest, the bottom, the background of the image. So it's really interesting. Once again, squint your eyes and see that all the values connect in a very interesting shape as well, with a lot of intricacies. So it's not by chance all that you're seeing here. This is all by design. So if you go back to the big picture, you can see that all fits together. Even some of those shapes that you can see right here, they are by design. They bring your eye back to the rest of the image, and they are interesting to look at on their own. So jumping into the collection that I mentioned, this painting, once again from Mead Schaeffer, is part of the Kelly collection of American Illustration Arts. It's not currently on display anywhere, if I'm not mistaken. So sometimes these pieces are borrowed from this collection. I really hope that some of them get at least displayed in the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art, being built by George Lucas in LA. I think a lot of these golden age of illustration pieces will end up there, even just on a temporary exhibition. So it will be awesome to see a lot of the curators working on this stuff and gathering more information. So I'm super excited about the impact that this like multi-billion-dollar endeavor will have in the narrative illustration field, as well as movies and storyboards and all of that stuff. So really exciting times. And last but not least, this painting is part of those two books, The Life and Art of Mead Schaeffer. It's really hard to find both of them. So if you have them, please share in the comments what you think. I hope I'm able to see them in the future it must be awesome information as well on the life of this artist and other amazing Golden Age illustrators. And I hope to bring other videos here. So tell me what you think of this video. If it was informative, I hope it really helped you on your journey and will help open your eyes for composition, for color contrasts, saturation, as well as lost edges and hard edges. I think this overall can help really improve your illustration ability. So have a great study journey, have a great day, and I hope we can catch up in other videos. Bye.